Are you celebrating Independence Day in Mexico this year?
Well,
I mean, he's right there in the thick of things.
I will tell you this. The Mexican Independence Day is being celebrated on Phil Baroni right now.
It's right, exactly.
Right. And then the other thing that happened last night, and it really wasn't as controversial, but Dana came out and he explained this 3 times last night, that the Dana White Contender Series, the show last night, did what it's supposed to do.
Right.
It weeds out the fighters against the non-fighters, whether they perform in the cage or whether they perform outside the cage. And there was a fight, it was the co-main event, and both guys were getting their hands wrapped, and I guess this Cody Steele is one badass. And so his opponent, the UFC flew him up from Brazil. He got his hands wrapped, and then he called for Sean, the matchmaker, and I guess he said he didn't want to fight. Sean went back and talked to him, convinced him to fight or whatever happened. Then they re-wrapped both fighters' hands, I believe, and then as they were getting ready, he then said, "No, I'm done. I don't want to do this." So he backed out of the fight. And then, like Dana said, and I know people are going to say it was chicken ship, SHIP, it was this, it was that, and it really wasn't. He made a decision at that time, this isn't for me. And that's what Dana said about the Dana White Contender Series. It's where they weeded out, and he weeded himself out before he got into the cage.
Yeah, because sometimes Dana explained that sometimes being 8-0 and 7-0 and 6-0 and 10-0 in some of these other organizations, and then you get here and you see who you're going up against. That's it.
Yep, no, for sure. So give me your guys' thoughts before we hit the top of the hour.
I think the kid made the right decision. I mean, if you're not going to,
Your heart's not in it.
yeah, if you're not going to give it your all, if your heart's not in it, if you're going to give a disappointing performance, you can live to fight another day, is what I always say. That's a cliche for a reason. Maybe he just wasn't prepared mentally and physically for the fight and realized, if I want to fight another day, I don't want to get embarrassed right now in front of the biggest guys in MMA.
Right. It's not the first time. We saw it with the Bronze Bomber with Deontay Wilder. I think he has the record for the fastest fight in boxing history, because when the bell rang, his opponent stuck his head through the ropes and quit and surrendered. So, when you know you're not in the fight for whatever reason, mentally, physically, spiritually, and you just know it's not a good thing for you, then you save your licks for another day.
I mean, are we missing the point, Randy? I mean, what did Dana say? Dana said, all right, he weeded himself out for us.
Right.
But I just think maybe the kids realized he's in over his head today, and if I go out there and lose badly, which he thinks he's going to do, he'll never get another shot.
Either or. I mean, but we could look at it both sides. He could have thought it that way, or he could have just said, you know what, I'm not this guy. I'm not a guy that can fight at this level at this organization. I'll go back to Brazil, and I'll fight on the smaller cards and do, I enjoy fighting maybe. I mean, we didn't talk to him. So, yeah, it's both. He did weed himself out, but on the same line, if you remember No Mas, and everybody gave Roberto Duran crap, for basically tapping out.
Right.
And then once MMA started and tap out, and it's respectable to tap out. It's respectable to say, hey, not for me. So for people that are going to give him crap for what he did, I give him credit for what he did. He realized that it's not for him for whatever reason. Maybe he just felt the nerves got to him.
Well, speaking of elite athletes, there's levels to all of this.
You don't need to bring me up. It's okay.
But this weekend I went to the Fit Fest at the State Fairgrounds. There was a CrossFit competition, and a good friend of the show, a guy I met through Randy, Mike, is a guy named Mark Oliver, at one time number 8 in the world in CrossFit. He won the elite division at the State Fairgrounds this Sunday, and I met a couple of great people that actually own a company called Be American. It's a clothing line that's all about the flag and supporting for our country. And on September 11th, nothing better. So go check out Be American on Instagram. And it was a great time out at the fairgrounds. Always for either fights or for competition at the highest level. It's always great to be in Tampa.
All right, this is going to sound really ignorant on my part, but I've never watched a CrossFit workout in my life. I'm aware of CrossFit. I know what it is, but I've never seen people do it.
Well, Randy would hate it because it's all subjective to interpretation, because a pull-up, you can either do a strict pull-up or what they do called kipping, which is momentum-based. So depending on how high your chest goes above the bar, how high your chin or your belly for muscle-ups, the person that's counting for you, that's an official, it's all based on their record of it. There's no like 3 judges like MMA. So really, it's in the eye of the beholder.
When I hear CrossFit, I just think of like Jane Fonda or something. I'm being serious.
Well, and here's my point, to be honest. No, I'm going to lie to you. I have flipped channels before, and I'm not going to say that I watched the whole thing, but I have watched a little bit, where they have to flip the barrel from side to side, and then they do these ridiculous, 4,612 pull-ups, sit-ups, trying to beat Randy Macho Man.
That's CrossFit.
Father's record for sit-ups. So, yeah, I'm not going to say that A, I would attend one, or B, that I would watch it for more than 5 or 8 minutes. But I have watched it once or twice.
Well, I guess you alluded to it. There's a judge who's judging these, and how do you win?
Each participant has their own counter. So, because it's so fast, you're doing reps. So, based on how low you get.
So then, how do you win? You got to do the most reps.
Most weight in the amount of time. So, like we're running out of time at the top of the hour. It's all based on the clock, and there's official record keepers of that.
Well, the best thing that I've seen in the last 2 hours. So while we're in Vegas and the guys are back in the studio, we're communicating, via text message, via Zoom, via whatever. So the last post that I got, which to me will make the rest of this day and the rest of the week, it says the last segment for me. So I'm pretty happy about that. So we're losing Matt here in 62 seconds.
And then
before you lose me, let me leave you a tip for all your fans. Download the Yuka app. Scan your products with the barcode. It will tell you what carcinogens or what additives are in it, and make better choices to be an ultimate human. Move your body and be healthy. And download the Yuka app today.
Be a better human. Don't listen to Matt.
And like next week, Matt, can you come up with something that like all of us
Means
are
something?
like maybe interested in?
Here's what. Before you leave, hold on. Before you get ready to leave, which we're thankful for, I'm going to call Brad Penny, and I think I'm going to pay to change his flight when he comes down in a couple weeks.
I'll go with it because I'll bet on my buddy Matt, even though I don't like him. I'll bet on Matt.
You're really going to bet on Matt?
Absolutely. Just because the guy was a good baseball player doesn't mean anything. Matt's good at everything, even doing stuff badly.
I'm great at media.
He's good at absolutely nothing.
You know what he's not great at? He's not great at juggling. He's here literally juggling a club, and a bottle of water.
And he brings up stuff like only 6 people are interested in the world.
It's cerebellum training, and it's right-left brain.
That's so cantankerous.
All right. The best part is we're out of time. We're out of